Hi, so this is just going to be a tutorial on how to run Bloodrayne, if you're interested at all in this game. We use legacy version of Bloodrayne, but because we don't have the OG around anymore, we have Terminal Cut. Terminal Cut, if you get that, it doesn't matter if it's on Steam or Good Old Games, it's all the same. You will have access to legacy version. It's the same for Bloodrayne 1 and 2. If you get Terminal Cut, you automatically get legacy version thrown into the box with your order, pretty much. So whether you use NVIDIA or AMD, I use NVIDIA, so I just went into NVIDIA control panel and set the game to at least a minimum of 400 FPS to do the skips that are involved with the game, the run. The higher you go, high risk, high reward. You will deal some extra damage to enemies, but Rain will also take that bit extra damage. And if you don't use either of these things for, for games in general, just seek out Reba Tuner, whatever. So long as it alters your FPS count, that's all that really matters. You just seek out your legacy version of Bloodrayne, and then just set that to, at least 400, and then you're good to go. If you plan on recording your runs, just a quick note, on OBS or Streamlabs OBS, select window capture, don't select game capture. Game capture has some weird hook, or it decreases the FPS a bit, enough that you cannot perform any of the stunts. So just something to keep in mind. And so for a new game, you just select Act 1, because obviously we don't have to do the tutorial, and then just select whichever mode you want to go on. Easy mode will be easier naturally to explain a few things in the heat of the moment. Escape helps you just skip all the cutscenes, obviously. For some people, there are proper, there's the proper cutscenes as well. For whatever reason, just doesn't happen for everyone. Sometimes you're not going to experience them. For other people, they're going to experience them. In that case, you just have to hit escape an extra time in order to bypass that. It will cost you maybe an extra second or like a second or 2 seconds maybe, by having to skip those extra cutscenes, but I think it's more about 1 second to 1.5 seconds. It's still a bit of time, but it's okay. So for movements, you have obviously your jump. I'm using keyboard and mouse, by the way, so I'll be referring to stuff in that context. I've also rebound my controls, so I'll do my best to kind of refer to default when I can. But for most part, just jump button, attack button, slash button, yeah. So jump button, obviously you do jump. You can see that depending on how high Rain jumps, there will be a stagger, but there are ways around that. So if you hit jump twice, she does a little twirl. So it doesn't matter how high or how low you are, she will just do that, no matter. During movement as well, you just move whichever way at the drop of a hat. You don't have to worry about, where you're, kind of measuring how far a jump is or anything. You can just still go for it. It's fine, in this kind of way, I mean. There's your slash, that's fine, but as mentioned, you have that stagger animation. So instead of Rain staggering like that, what you can do is slash during your jump motion, and she will safely kind of land on the ground. So the same happens, and she'll stumble when jumping forward or backward, left, right, and just using slash kind of negates any kind of fall, staggering animation. For most of this run, you'll see this, and that's the kind of animation we'll be doing. For the most part, you'll be waiting to jump to Rain's height, instead of just doing something like that. There will be times when you do need to just jump at a half jump or so, but it's much more minimal compared to just using the height of her jump. In general, you want to be listening for sound cues as well. So with the slash, you hear that getting ready for swiping motion and then the actual swiping motion, you want to wait for that high pierce tone when you hit your second jump. And it just means you can cross more land rather than having to do something like that, which you're not going to cross as much land by doing so. And otherwise you've got guns, you've got lightest guns, heaviest guns, which is just defaulted to if you've got nothing. You've got the small little box that is dedicated to throwables, and then on the right hand side, like top right corner, you got your special, which is like your grenade launcher, that sort of thing. And you've also got this thing here, you see a little blue thingy. That's where your objective is. It's just an objective marker. You have an ability right off the bat which allows you to see where to go. So you'll just see this little thing on the map. It'll tell you how close you are to your objective, and no matter where you are. But it will go through walls, so just keep that in mind. There's also this other, like, arrow, upward arrow, that is just completely empty right now. That is our blood rage meter. So Rain, if she hits enemies enough at time, she'll get a blood rage meter, which helps her do extra damage to enemies. You'll enter a blood red screen, it'll go into a slow-mo, and then all of your attacks deal that much extra damage. That's what we will be using against bosses in particular. So you kind of just want to keep that topped up when you can. It's defaulted on keyboard to caps lock, but you can also just set it to caps lock and like or. I just set it to or for rage, so yeah. That would be the basics kind of down. Otherwise, in the bottom left, you just gotta keep mind of your health bar. You get a visual cue as well as the health bar, so it'll go from green, orange, and then red, and then just nothing because you're dead. Rain's image will also change. It'll go more to a skull, and the same for other NPCs as well, like targets, objectives, whatever you want to call them. It'll happen for them too, but that's the basics. And the more then naturally as we get around, you see these two little boxes on the bottom right where the little blue marker is. Those are powers that we unlock as we go throughout the game, but we'll get to those as we get to them. For now, we'll just continue to the actual game. Yeah. So to do the first level, you just want to do it as normal. Go in through here, hit escape, hit one of these guys to start your blood rage going. You won't really see much of a change at first, but it'll happen afterwards. Hit escape as soon as you hit that wall, and then you just want to go over to this thing over here, which is your objective, and that will be level 1.